There is no such a thing as a unconscious initiation. Initiation does require a conscious intention and effort of integrating whatever you are initiating with, but the realities or the spiritual realities of the Sephirot or the Klipot, what they basically represent is a macrocosmic and microcosmic representation of our galaxy, of our universe, our own DNA, of our soul, spirit, and body of flesh, so that those realities are in constant exchange with each other. So whatever you are doing, whatever you're thinking right now corresponds to each of these spheres, of each of these archetypes and realities. So if for whatever reasons, because of your own actions, you correspond with, for example, Gola Chap, and you are evoking and invoking some aspects of Golachar within your life, some archetypes of Golachar within your life, the sphere of the black Mars, which is associated with violence, with high, sex drive, with strength, with power, unrestricted, with crime. And of such, if you are through your own actions, be it you're doing some crime, or you feel quite angry and violent because something has happened in your life, because of that reasons, you are corresponding in a natural state with this sphere, and thus you are kind of attracting those energies of those planetary influences and of these archetypes from deep unconscious and conscious into your life. That does not necessarily equate to initiation, because what initiation does, it will help you to master those forces instead of being mastered by them. So that's a problem if you are not in your own power, in your own authenticity, in your own alignment, in your own true will, in a magical and spiritual expression. Those forces take more than they give, or they just take. Those forces can wreck your life up if you are unable to process them, to handle them and master them. So there's a differences between conscious sacrifices and destructions, because you have invited to your own actions those forces within your own life. But yeah, I don't think that there is such a thing as unconscious initiation. You do intend consciously for your own evolution, for your own consciousness and awareness, and there is some type of agreement, intention, and awareness happening. And sometimes those things can also be agreed upon by past lives and parallel universes. I get that, but usually initiation does require a conscious effort and agreement and working. Other than that, you're just basically walking through your own basically law of attraction or law of action you do, and correspondences of the astral realms. So yeah, that's what I think. If you have learned through that process of mastering your darkness, your shadow, or the primordial forces of chaos, basically of creation, or of true source and origin, then it's amazing. That's why there are these special examples, people who are down in the gutters and who master the gutter, that they rise high in power or wisdom or knowledge insight, because they've mastered in a more unconscious way, like you implied, clipothic or darker force in their life. But a much more powerful way is though to do it consciously through conscious effort and invitation. That's what I think. I feel that's like like doing evolution or steroids. So yeah, no, I hope that answers what you had in mind, or that may have piqued your curiosity.